Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to the post route at Game On Wisconsin. My name is MJ Hurley, and as always, the post route here at Game On Wisconsin is sponsored by Artec Ventures. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turning their visions into successful companies. Since 2020, Artec Ventures has helped turn great ideas into profitable businesses that make an impact on the industries, communities, and beyond. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Bears talked a lot of smack this week. Their fans were quite annoying, if I do say so myself. And we are sitting here today with a Victory Sunday post route. So, first and foremost, I'm very happy. The Packers won. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care how we got there. Packers won 24-14. Green Bay is 5-1, top of the NFC North. They now hold the tiebreaker over the Chicago Bears for the foreseeable future. Minnesota is struggling to beat the Carolina Panthers as I speak. So today is a good day for the Green Bay Packers and our NFC North standings, first and foremost. So, guys, how are you feeling? This was a game coming in that we all, at least in my opinion, I felt like we should win. It was a game that on paper, even with some of the injuries, the Green Bay Packers should be the team to win this football game. Again, it didn't look pretty at some points. The Chicago Bears did do some things that made me concerned. And moving forward, there are a couple things that the Bears did to attack the Packers that we will need to address. However, just first and foremost, Green Bay Packers won. We're 5-1. So let me know how you are feeling. We got a lot of Go Pack Go in the chat. I'm doing very good. Green Bay Packers won. I cannot be upset with that. Royce Newman did allow 2 sacks. That is a little bit concerning. Trust me, we'll get to that as we go on. Justin Fields, he got drafted by the Bears for a reason because they're very good at evaluating quarterback talent. 10 out of 10, I do recommend. I'm feeling great. I am doing well. So with that, let's just do a brief little recap. Chicago looked good in the first half. They looked like a football team that could go out there and possibly beat the Green Bay Packers. Again, even after the first half, even after the first quarter, I tweeted 7-0 Bears, not surprised, not concerned. It's funny, the Packers last year started really well every single game. They started hot. Their first drive was almost automatic. This year, not so much. They seem to be the opposite. In the first half, they don't look very good. Second half is where they really find their rhythm. Why is that? I don't really know off the top of my head. I can't give you a concrete answer. All I know is that the Green Bay Packers are a football team that gets better as the game goes along now. That's how I'm going to choose to look at it, no matter what's actually going on. But 24-14 victory. Bears got some pressure on the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers did not look incredible. It was not a vintage throwing performance or a passing performance from Aaron Rodgers. He did a little bit with his legs. He was a different quarterback today than he's been the rest of this season. However, going against one of the top defenses in the NFL, I give the Bears all the credit. They got a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They made him and Matt LaFleur change things up and do things that they did not want to do throughout the entire process. So they did find success against Green Bay. However, in the end, what I said all week, what I said on the pre-snap, is that the Bears could not keep up offensively with the Green Bay Packers. That is, first and foremost, the biggest advantage the Packers have is we have an MVP caliber quarterback. Chicago Bears do not. So first and foremost, that is what I am excited about. Aaron Rodgers going absolutely crazy. With that, if you guys scroll up in the chat, Game On Wisconsin has I Still Own You shirts that are live and purchasable on the Game On Wisconsin website. So Aaron Rodgers with a running touchdown. I'm going to keep bringing this quote up. Aaron Rodgers said a couple weeks ago after a victory, how can you not be romantic about football? Aaron Rodgers walks into one of the most hostile environments in football. That is Soldier Field, noon kickoff in October, rookie quarterback that everyone's excited about, with the Green Bay Packers coming to town and a spot for first place in the NFC North on the line. Aaron Rodgers did everything you can ask for. He took over the game when he needed to. He and Devontae had some big plays when they needed to. But realistically, that run, that was a LA Rams run from the second round last year. That was the type of run that Aaron Rodgers had at the end of that game. And throwing the belt on and staring at the Chicago faithful saying, I've always owned you. I still own you. And some other expletives in there because Aaron Rodgers is not afraid to do that to the Chicago faithful. So let me just say this. If anybody was questioning, including myself, if anybody was questioning whether or not Aaron Rodgers is in it, just look at that quote. Just look at him throwing the discount double check, swearing at the Chicago fans, saying, I've always owned you. I still own you. If that's not what you want from your quarterback, from the leader of your franchise, from the face of your franchise, facing your biggest rival for the past 100 years, 203 matchups, I don't know what to tell you, because that is exactly what I want from my quarterback. That is exactly what I want from my leader. And he delivered not only on the field, but in the intensity that you needed to win that football game. So I can't ask of any more from Aaron Rodgers than I got today. And to be honest, if you want more than that, I don't know what to tell you. But once again, we do have I Still Own You shirts on Game On Wisconsin. So scroll up in the chat, go find those, follow the link, go purchase those. I'm definitely going to be getting one of those. So make sure that we're doing that. Honestly, Nicholas, I'm doing good. I cannot be upset with the Packers' victory. Jonathan Garvin doing a lot of things today. Packers keep having injuries, and it just doesn't matter. Vikings and Panthers going into overtime, says Dan. Is it still in overtime? Is that it just starting? Wonderful. That's what I love to see. Running offense was the MVP today. Thank you for bringing this up, Nicholas. Thank you for bringing this up. This is something I've been harping on for the last few weeks, really since the season started. This was my biggest issue in the Saints game. I know this was tweeted out by some people on Packers Twitter today, but one of the things that's frustrated me about Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, and this is really something that has been going on for the Packers for years. Whenever the Packers get behind, they seem to have a lack of willingness to run the football. Packers got behind 7-0 today very quickly. Khalil Mack, sack on the first drive. Packers had nothing doing on that first drive. Justin Fields, very impressive drive to begin the game. Marches Chicago down the field very quickly. It is 7-0 Chicago Bears. That's when I tweeted 7-0 Bears, not surprised, not concerned. Because I wasn't surprised and I wasn't concerned. That's how the Packers have started games so far. That's what Green Bay has looked like. And I am not concerned whatsoever at this point if the Packers get behind in a football game. One of the reasons I'm not concerned is because what you brought up, Nicholas. The Green Bay Packers in the past, when they're losing a game, first of all, they have not done well under Matt LaFleur when they are trailing by 7 points. It's just a fact. They haven't done well. This year, they've been okay. Outside of that Saints game, which is just an anomaly. We don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's stupid. It's just, it was awful. We don't want to talk about it. The Packers have not been the same football team the rest of the year. However, what the Packers have been able to do is even when they're behind, they still run the football. You have, in my opinion, the second best running back duo in all of football. You have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who are the speed power combo that you ask for in any running back duo in NFL history. Like, I could not, other than Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I could not ask for more in a running back duo. Those are the only two put together in a backfield that I would want over the guys we have in Green Bay. And given the system the Packers have, I will take our guys. So with that in mind, you have two of the best running backs in football for doing what they need to do in our system. And you need to make sure that we're doing that because, again, what I've said again and again on this post route, on the pre-snap, all over Game On Wisconsin, is you need to run the football. You need the motion for Matt LaFleur's offense to work. Aaron Rodgers is great in the bootleg. He's great in the play action. But when you don't run the football, play action means a lot less. Does it still work sometimes? Yes, because you still do have those talented running backs. But if they haven't run for anything today and you've just completely abandoned it and gone one dimension, then it means absolutely nothing. So the fact that the Packers, while behind, could continue to run the football, continue to execute their game plan. Biggest issue the Packers had in 2019 and 2020 was once they got off their initial script, they were a little shaky. They were great on that first script. After that, they were a little shaky. This year, it's actually been the opposite, which I particularly prefer. I understand if you're good on the script. Everyone can be good on their first 20 plays or their 15, 20 plays. But when you get after that, that's when the football games are won. It's in the fourth quarter when the Bears are bringing 6. Aaron Rodgers has to make a play. downfield 40 yards to Davante Adams, who almost gets a touchdown, just falls out of bounds. By the way, amazing balance by Davante. It was impressive he even stayed in bounds as long as he did. So with all of that in mind, offensively, there were some injuries. Josh Myers went out for that game with a knee injury. Elton Jenkins got beat by Robert Quinn in the first quarter on a sack, something we don't normally see from Elton. So with some inconsistencies on the offensive line, I legitimately could not ask for more offensively. That's all I want. That's all I need. The Packers did what they needed to do today. EQ did get screwed. So I understand he did push the defender. He absolutely did. It was a little push. But the defender, when EQ tried to get out of his route, also shoved him. So it really goes down to, I'm a big fan of let the boys play. Like, football's a physical game for a reason. You saw Chandon Sullivan knock Justin Fields, which helmet to helmet, yes, it was a penalty. I love the intensity the Packers defense was bringing. I don't want Justin Fields to get hurt. I want him to be successful and have this rivalry be rolling for 10 years. But I do love the intensity from Chandon Sullivan, who has not been getting as much time recently. Devontae Smith. Oh, Jalen Smith. Yeah, Jalen Smith. I always said I don't want him on running downs. I just want him on passing downs. So he looked okay on passing downs. Again, first time in the defense. Packers won. That's all I really care about. Defense did their job when they needed to. They made Justin Fields look like the rough around the edges rookie quarterback that he is. That's all I need from him. AJ and Dylan. Love that. They did look decent in the red zone today. I'm assuming you're talking about the offense, because the Packers' red zone defense is still absolute trash. Don't get me wrong. I want to celebrate this Packers win with you guys. But the fact that their red zone defense, as soon as you get to the 20-yard line, just folds. And it honestly, every single time, looks like there's 2 minutes left in the game and they just want the other team to go score. That's what it looks like every single time in the red zone. We can't have that. You can have that against the Bengals and the Lions and the Bears and Ben Roethlisberger's terrible Steelers. You can have that against those teams. You can't do that against maybe the Seahawks with Russ out. You can't do that against the Browns. You can't do that against the Ravens. You can't do that against the Cardinals. They're going to beat you. So this is something that has to be fixed. Red zone offense did look much better, much more like the gold zone today. Still not completely there where we were last year, but keep in mind the 2020 Packers red zone offense was historical, literally record-breaking. Don't expect that every single year. That's just not going to happen. EQ was grabbed first, 100%. And thank you for pointing this out, Dan. Green Bay 5-1 for the third consecutive season under Matt LaFleur since he became head coach in 2019. You can say all you want about the Green Bay Packers under Matt LaFleur. You can say all you want about him as a coach, his system, his offense, whatever it may be, that the Packers haven't gotten out of the championship game those 2 years. And who knows what will happen this year. But the man knows how to win football games, and he knows how to put his team in a very good position to win games, not only in the regular season, but to put you in a good position for a little postseason run. So even if the Green Bay Packers, honestly, sitting where we are right now with so many injury concerns, so many issues across the board, I do not expect the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl. Should I say that live week 6? Probably not, because with my luck, somebody will clip this and screw me over later. Who knows? But, sitting where we are right now, Z out, Jair out, Preston went down today, Josh Myers went down today. You're still missing top players across the board. Bakhtiari is still out. It's not a football team as we stand right now that is going to win the Super Bowl. That's just a fact. Are we a top 3 team in the NFC? Absolutely. But is that a Super Bowl winning team right now? Absolutely not. So you just have to kind of temper your expectations. I'm enjoying the Packers. I'm enjoying watching them play right now. However, I'm tempering my expectations because I don't want to lose my mind. So once again, just to plug the shirts, scroll up in the chat all the way to the top. We got Game On Wisconsin, I Still Own You shirts. Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears. I believe this is his 22nd win against the Chicago Bears. That is most for a single person against a single opponent in all-time NFL history. So I don't care. Packers are publicly owned. Bears are privately owned. And their owner, Aaron Rodgers. Just had to say that. So defensively, Packers got more pressure today. And the Vikings just won in OT, which means the Vikings are now tied for second in the NFC North. I do not believe they have played the Chicago Bears yet off the top of my head. So I believe they're going to be tied with the Bears for second in the NFC North. So you have the Packers at 5-1. You have the Vikings and the Bears both at 3-3 now, just absolutely average to every extent. And then what did the Lions do today? Let's take a look. I didn't look at. I was too busy with the Packers. What did the Lions do today? I'm guessing they lost. Shut up. Let's take a look. Yep, Bengals beat them 34-11. An absolute beatdown. So before we get to the defensive end for Green Bay, I just want to do a little run around the NFL, get you guys caught up on everything going on. So the Vikings just won in overtime against the Panthers. Jaguars in the morning game won 23-10 over the Dolphins. Urban Meyer's first win in the NFL comes not in the United States. Not a shocker. Like I said, Bengals win 34-11 over the poor Detroit Lions, who now fall to 0-6 on the season. Dan Campbell and his espresso can only do so much. Indianapolis Colts get their second win on the season against the Houston Texans, a beatdown 31-3. Rams with another beatdown 38-11 on the Giants. Chiefs handle business in Washington 31-13. Ravens make a statement against the Chargers 34-6. Justin Herbert did not look very good. Oh my goodness, that is an absolute beatdown for the poor Los Angeles Chargers. So that's what we got going on in the NFL. To switch gears a little bit defensively, what did you guys see today? What were your concerns? What did you like? What were things that the Packers need to work on? What were things that the Packers did well? I want to know what you guys thought first. I have plenty of rants. Don't worry. But give me your biggest difference maker, and then give me the guy who you were not very happy with today. Give me the guy that brought you out of your chair in a bad way today, because we had both of those. We had good things and bad things. And I'll be honest, the way the Packers performed defensively, you can do that against the Bears. You can do that against a rookie quarterback. But again, when we get to the hard part of our schedule, that is not the type of defensive performance that the Packers can put up. They had a very good second and third quarter. First and fourth were a little rough. But, again, some good things, some bad things on the defensive end. So 22-5, you are correct all time. So defensively, what did you guys see? Give me your difference makers. Give me things you did not like. My biggest difference maker, honestly, is still Devondre Campbell. What that man can do. Aaron Rodgers said it last week. How the hell was this guy on the street? I don't know. Shout out to the Packers personnel department for finding him. But the fact that the Green Bay Packers now have a legitimate middle linebacker, we have not had that really since the Desmond Bishop days. We have not had that heat-seeking missile who's going to go out there and make plays. So what I saw just even on the tackling front today, because that was a concern for the Packers for a few years. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there was a time when it wasn't even the coverage. It wasn't us complaining about not pressing enough. It wasn't us complaining about our third edge rusher. We were just complaining that the Packers could not tackle well. And that's really what it was. So, I honestly, I am very happy with how they performed. If I'm sitting here talking about their third edge rusher, or I'm sitting here talking about other things, don't worry about it. Packers did just fine. Again, the way Devondre Campbell is playing, it solidifies the entire defense. Example A, Adrian Amos had a great play at one point on Khalil Herbert on a 3rd and 1, on a 4th and 1, where he crashed down. He saw the running play coming, crashed down, took Herbert down. They had to challenge, work on that spot a little bit. That's something that Adrian Amos is very good at. He's been good at that since his Chicago days. That's one of the places he thrives. I haven't seen Adrian Amos around the line of scrimmage as much. And in my opinion, sitting here thinking about it, one of the reasons for that is Devondre Campbell. Because Amos has not had to sit there at the line of scrimmage and do the work of a linebacker. He can actually sit back and play safety now. So our safety group was actually very good today. So I'm going to give a shout out to the Packers linebackers. I'm going to give a shout out to the safeties. And I'm going to give a shout out to the defensive line. Honestly, everybody outside of our cornerback group did really well. Now let's talk about the corners real quick. And I know I've spent plenty of time on this show, on all of my shows, talking about Kevin King, why I don't want him on the football field, why, in my opinion, he's like the 3rd or 4th best corner on the Green Bay Packers. And that is still very true. However, I will say he may be better. Kevin King may be better than Isaac Yiadom. And that really hurts me to say, because I'm pretty sure I said earlier on the show, on the pre-snap with Dara, that I wanted Isaac Yiadom over Kevin King. But I will rescind that statement. And I believe I would rather have Kevin King on the football field than Isaac Yiadom. I said it. I'd rather have Kevin King on the football field than Isaac Yiadom. Rasul Douglas, that might be different. I might want Douglas on the field over Kevin King because I saw some good things out of Douglas today. But if it's King or Yiadom, I want Kevin King. Now, do not get me wrong. Do not twist my words. If Jaire Alexander and Eric Stokes are healthy, there's absolutely no reason that Kevin King should touch the football field unless one of them is off the field for any reason. But there is zero chance that I want Kevin King on the field in that circumstance. Compared to Isaac Yiadom, maybe. But understand, Isaac Yiadom is on his fourth team. There's a reason for that. Rasul Douglas, Quinton Dunbar, those are guys I would rather have than Kevin King because, A, they're more veteran, and B, they can't be worse. They can't be worse. Isaac Yiadom was absolutely worse today. But again, cornerback performance was the one thing. If you didn't have Justin Fields as the quarterback, there were some points today. Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, even the Packers made Cole Kmet look like a good receiver today. They made him look like a quality, solid 12th overall in the NFL tight end. That's a problem. So when you have Cole Kmet doing those type of things in your secondary, this is an issue. And I understand Packers secondary is banged up. Even Darnell Savage had to go to the locker room at one point today. So we have injuries across the board. I'm going to be picking out some picky, specific things that I saw from the Green Bay Packers today. And please understand that, put that in context, because it's my job to pick out, picky things. That's my job. That's what I'm here to do. However, as a fan, just realistically, Packers won the football game. So it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be a blowout 34-10 performance for us to sit here and be happy. But I'm putting this in the context of we did these things against the Chicago Bears, who are not a good football team. And if we do them against good football teams like the Cardinals, like the Seahawks, like the Browns, like the Ravens, those are the type of football games we are going to lose. So, again, my dad throwing out a comment. Thank you, sir. There's a reason Jaylon Smith was available from the defensively challenged Cowboys. And that is a very good point. And that is why I know I said this earlier. In the context of Jaylon Smith versus Stephon Gilmore, I'm very mad that we got Jaylon Smith. I understand we didn't have the money for Stephon Gilmore. It would have made our cap very tight. We had the draft capital. We didn't necessarily have the money. Something else would have had to be worked out there. Jaylon Smith was on the street for a reason, like my dad said. So, I get that. It still makes me a little mad that we didn't get Stephon Gilmore, and I'm not necessarily happy with Jaylon Smith being there. But again, he's not worse than the Packers like third-string linebackers. So if he throws me a good edge rush snap, one good edge rush snap a game, and one good pass coverage snap a game, honestly, I'll be happy. He doesn't have to do much. He'll still be the third inside linebacker. He'd still be the fourth edge rusher, honestly, at this point, behind Z, Preston, Rashawn, and Garvin. He's the fifth at that point if everybody's healthy. So I'm not mad about Jaylon Smith being here. I just don't want him to have too prominent of a role. I saw him a little bit too much on the field today, so I agree with that. King is still the third best corner on the Packers. That's a sad statement, but it is true right now, and you're absolutely right, Janelle. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and hopefully Kevin King will not be on the Packers next year. We should have Jaire, Eric Stokes, hopefully another good young third corner. We'll see what we can do there. Still having problems containing a running quarterback. Yes, I also think it has to do – I'm going to give a little bit of a weird tangent-y example here. I don't know if you've ever played a video game or a board game that you're really good at. You have one of your friends over, you have a buddy over. You're like, hey, bro, I want you to try this video game out. Let's just say, for example, it's Madden. Your buddy's never played Madden before. He's a soccer fan. He's like, sure, my buddy wants me to play some Madden. I'll play some Madden with him. And when you start to play that game, such an inexperienced player does things that confuse you. You expect your buddy to play a certain way because that's how everybody you've ever played against plays. That's how the computer plays. That's what you're expecting. But when your buddy comes in, absolutely no experience, he's just trying things out. He doesn't know what's going to work because he's never done it before. That's my example with Justin Fields. Number one, that's why I think partially Packers had a hard time setting that edge. Don't get me wrong. I've ripped on Preston Smith for months about him not being able to set an edge. It's also just that Justin Fields does weird things in the backfield. He runs around like a chicken with his head cut off sometimes. And that's just the way it's going to be because he's a mobile young quarterback who, as Greg Olsen pointed out on the broadcast, has a tendency to put his eyes down and just look to run too quickly. There are plenty of times the Packers missed coverage, but Justin Fields' eyes were down, so it was okay. So if you look at it in that context, again, I agree with you, Nicholas. The Packers are going to struggle with some of the running quarterbacks coming up, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. But I wasn't upset with how they performed against Justin Fields today because they limited him to the point where they won the football game. That's really all I need. I got you, Dan. I got you. Yeah, perhaps Jaylon Smith can become a QB-contained linebacker with Campbell being more of a run-stuffing coverage linebacker. Possibly. But again, like I said earlier, I really don't want to rely on Jaylon Smith too much to do anything, to be perfectly honest. I just don't want to rely on the guy to get anything done because from everything I've seen in his football experience, he is past the time where he's going to be the reliable number one inside linebacker. Could he show flashes of that? Absolutely. And honestly, we only need a flash or two for it to be worth the money because it cost the Packers barely anything to get him in the door. But, at the end of the day, I do want the Green Bay Packers to rely more on Campbell, more on Barnes, and I'll be happy on that front. Overall, again, 24-14 victory. I cannot be mad with a 24-14 victory over, in my opinion, the most annoying fan base in the NFL. Not necessarily most annoying. There are some other ones that are very, very annoying. Seattle, I really don't like them. San Francisco, I don't like them. Basically, anyone that beats the Packers, I don't like their fan base. New England Patriots fans, you annoy me. Bandwagon Buccaneers fans, you annoy me. Anyway, not what I'm supposed to be talking about. I apologize for the tangent. But once again, how can you not be romantic about football? Aaron Rodgers with the belt, with the dagger, with the I still own you to Chicago Bears fans, screaming at Soldier Field so loud that not only the fans can hear it, but every single microphone in that end zone brought it up. He throws on the discount double check, and he shows the entire world that, number one, he can still run. He can still move outside the pocket. Anyone calling him slow to begin the day, no. That man can still run, and I am absolutely excited to see what this season can hold. The Green Bay Packers are now a football team where Aaron Rodgers truly does not have to carry them. He does not have to be the main person on that offense. He can go out there. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon can run that football. They can carry the load. A.J. Dillon is our closer. Aaron Jones is our dynamic back. Even when you think he's down, he's not down. He's going to go get you some yards. He's going to go get you another touchdown. Matt LaFleur getting gimmicky with a little shovel pass to Allen Lazard at the end zone. So if we're at a point where Aaron Rodgers is just sitting back, slinging the football 200 yards if he needs to, throwing a little shovel pass, handing off to Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, that is the type of Green Bay Packers football that I can watch. And if our defense, I know we've not faced stout offenses yet, so I'm not getting too excited about what our defense is going to look like. But we're around 7th, 8th in the league right now. Even if we bottom out at 12 or 15, that's a defensive rank where the Green Bay Packers can make some noise. Again, the offense needs to do a little bit more in that situation than we've done right now. But again, it's week 6. I'm not worried. I'm happy. Please don't get me wrong. I am very happy. Green Bay Packers are 5-1. I cannot be mad at that whatsoever. But I'm pointing out some of the pickier things that against good teams, the Green Bay Packers will not be able to do if they want to win football games. That's what I'm doing here. So don't get me wrong on that front. I consider Vikings fans the worst. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Honestly, the only fans I don't hate in the NFC, the only fans I don't dislike in the NFC North are the Lions. They complain a little bit too much about penalties, but that's just more annoying than like rude, disrespectful, things like that. So, there's that. Went to the grocery store this morning in the middle of Chicago in my Packers jacket, and some guy said, it's starting. So funny story, Drew. I was in Chicago this entire weekend. I'm down in Peoria now at school. But I was in Chicago this entire weekend. I wore this shirt out yesterday. Actually, I wore it out Friday. And same thing. I walk into a Jewel Osco. I go to check out, and the lady at the Jewel Osco was like, "Excuse me, we don't serve Packers fans." And I grew up in Chicago, so I'm used to it. And I looked at this woman, and I started to joke, and I thought she was dead serious for a few seconds. And I think she was. I think she was. I just gave her my things anyway that I needed to buy. But I was scared for a second that she was just going to not check me out and be like, no, we don't serve those here. I honestly wouldn't have been surprised. She looked like a Karen anyway. Anyway, yeah, so 24-14 victory over the Chicago Bears. Real quick, last comments from you guys, last thoughts, people that most impressed you, any concerns you have going forward. Obviously, we're concerned about the injury front. Josh Myers, Darnell Savage, other guys went down today that I don't love seeing those guys in the blue injury tent. But at this point, we're just getting so much depth. This is something Matt LaFleur said during the week. There's nothing that can beat game reps. So if I'm getting third, fourth string guys game reps, we're going to have such a deep, experienced roster by the time the Packers get to the playoffs, because they're going to win this division. I don't care what anyone else says. Packers are going to win this division. We're going to have our third string right tackle. We're going to have our backup center, our backup left guard, our backup everything on every point of the football. Our backup edge rushers, our backup defensive line, our backup corners, safeties. Well, maybe not safeties, but even you saw Henry Black getting some action today. Vernon Scott has been getting some action throughout the year. So you're getting so much depth, so much experience across the board that I will be much more confident come playoff time. That third corner, he's going to be able to stand up to the Bucs a lot better than he would have. You know why? Because Isaac Yiadom was facing Allen Robinson today. Isaac Yiadom is going to be able to match up a lot better on Scotty Miller than Allen Robinson, especially after seeing Allen Robinson all year. Eric Stokes has been facing Devontae Adams in practice for the last few weeks because he is the number one. So he's going to be able to match up against twos a lot better when Jair gets back. So all of that depth falls down, it trickles down, and the Packers are going to be a much better football team because of it when we go forward. Pairing of Jones and Dillon is amazing to watch. Thunder and Lightning undervalues their skills as runners. I agree. A.J. Dillon actually, what I wanted more of today was him in the passing game. We saw that last week. There wasn't as much of that this week. So I wish we could have gotten a little bit more of Dillon in the passing game. Game plan didn't allow for it. Execution, I know Roquan Smith would probably be all over that. But at the end of the day, Dillon did well. Jones did well. They combined for over 100 yards. That's all I need from them. Packers definitely have the right Matt coaching their team. I don't know, and this is a serious question. If the Bears continue to lose football games, I don't know how longer Matt Nagy is their head coach. Bruce and I will talk plenty about that on Third Down Thursdays this week, I am sure. But it's going to be interesting in Chicago if Justin Fields continues to look like the worst quarterback in football. Do they go back to Andy Dalton? Does Matt Nagy get fired? Does Bill Lazor get fired? There's a lot of questions in that Chicago locker room because if their defense performs the way they did today and they still can't win football games, I honestly don't know what to tell you. Bears fan, GG guys, you played a good one. A-Rod owns you is going to haunt us for several years. Yes, it is. Honestly, dude, Black Spider dude, love you, bro. I was worried that it was going to be a Tampa situation where Rodgers throws on the belt, screams some things, and then they lose. But it happened at the end of the game instead of the beginning, so I felt a little better because it was 24-14 at that point. But no, I appreciate you, respectful Bears fan. Coming from Chicago, that is rare to see, so I appreciate you, GG. Honestly, it was a good game. Packers won, and something Bruce tweeted, he didn't want it to be like a slow, methodical death. He just wanted it to be over with real quick. It was slow. It was methodical. The Packers did very well. Again, at the end of the day, with all of these injuries, the Green Bay Packers are 5-1. They're sitting atop the NFC North. They're one of the top teams in the NFC. They're one of the top teams in football. We're getting so much experience, so many valuable reps across the board. This football team is going to be poised for a run. Right now, are we a Super Bowl team? No. If everybody comes back healthy, absolutely. So that's what we have to look forward to. Next week, Green Bay gets the Washington football team. That's a game on paper we absolutely have to win. Go out there, win the football team, win against the football team, win the football team, either one. And then we're 6-1 going into the hardest part of our schedule. That's what we said on Game on Wisconsin weeks ago. Jacob, Mike, and I said the Packers have to be 6-1 going into that stretch of the schedule, no matter what. So that's what we're looking for. It's hard to find the same thing over here. Trust me, dude. I grew up in Chicago, so I learned how to respectfully roast Bears fans without getting punched in the face in the grocery store. It was a hard skill. I learned it at age 5. I hate the team, not the fans. Love memeing with the cheese heads. I appreciate you. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, so that's what the Green Bay Packers are looking at. Matchup with Washington next week. That's a team we should beat. Absolutely. Then we go into the hard part of the schedule. I honestly don't even want to talk about that yet because it's going to be rough. But, one more time. How can you not be romantic about football? Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears, 22-5 in his lifetime. Most wins against any team ever for one individual football player in NFL history. You can't be mad with that. Green Bay Packers, 5-1, beat the Chicago Bears. Go Pack, go. This has been the Post Route on Game On Wisconsin. My name is MJ Hurley. You can follow me at Twitter at MJ Hurley Sports. Once again, thank you to Artec Ventures for sponsoring the show, taking care of us. Tune into the MVS Victory Show this Tuesday. And as always, my name is MJ Hurley. It's been a pleasure. Go buy the We Still Own You shirts at Game On Wisconsin, and I will see you guys next week.